Thank you so much. Thank you, Stephen. God save the Queen. Long may she reign. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the third speaker for the negative, Rhys Nicholson. I'm sorry Joel Creasy was booked. Now, tonight I stand here to hammer into you the power of the truth, that while fake news exists, it does not have to. In my family, we have a saying. My mother would always say, "Look, Rhys, it was the late 80s, I don't know who he is." But she would also say something that relates to this subject. She would say, "Truth beats fiction." You do not need to fake the news to make the news, but they will fake the truth to make their arguments, and they're really lying to themselves. See, just like my first sexual experience, the truth is ugly. But it's also important, and it happened in a tent. I'll be honest. Let's be honest, tonight we have heard some pretty well-constructed sentences from the smart people over on Team Liar, with their big words and their degrees. DeAnne Bieber Smith, human Fabergé egg Andy Zaltzman, and of course the two private schoolboys stacked on top of each other, conjoined only by a bleeding heart, Tom Ballard. They've had some great sentences, the best sentences, amazing sentences, huge sentences, but it was all lies, clearly written by the Russian government. Facts, like my first sexual experience, can be uncomfortable. The truth can be a double-edged sword, I think. I actually have no idea how that saying works. Surely the amount of edges to a sword is kind of irrelevant. Either way, I'm getting stabbed. Anyways. In all honesty, I wish I was on that team. And not just because Janelle has had her hand on my knee for the past 45 minutes. No, I'm sorry, Janelle, wrong tree, please stop barking. But no, I would prefer to be on this team over here because I wish news was fake. I wish I lived in our ABC fantasy land where everything is amazing and it doesn't matter how you dress and everything's lactose-free, where dreams come true. I wish I lived in their lefty, wet dream, Willy Wonka chocolate family factory of deceit. But I'm not. I'm over there. I'm over there in the real world. Look at my team. They look war-torn. Look what the truth has done to them. Sammy J, a man so withered and weakened by the truth it takes all his strength just to lift his spirits. Janelle's from the United States, so, you know, she's fucked. And I've had to cover my tired face in 2 inches of makeup. My head is actually about the size of a small fist. And I'm not fooling anyone. We all know that truly inside I'm dead. The only thing cheering me up right now is this glittery jacket I weaved from the nightmares of Corey Bernardi. There are people who might say that fake news is more fun. People might say that fake news is more entertaining. People might say, "Rhys, your hair looks lovely tonight." Thank you, but this really isn't the time. But this also isn't the time for fake news. In my entirely uneducated opinion, I think the real world is far more interesting than anything we're ever going to get someone just make up. I'd rather watch 3 full days of the 7:30 report than 1 second of Andrew Bolt. Ugh. Andrew Bolt answers the question, how much ignorance can you squeeze out of a stone? It's about 3 columns worth a week. People like Bolt prove the truth is not just important, it also can make you feel better. That is the exact reason that at least 3 times a month I will go on Facebook and look up someone who bullied me in high school and try and play my favourite game, I Won. It's very simple. Basically what you do is you go find someone who bullied you in high school, you find them on Facebook, you scroll through their news feed, you find the exact moment that they fucking lost. I was playing it a few weeks ago and this guy Tom Holloway, don't bleep it, it's his real name, he had just put a thing up on Facebook. He said, like, "Happy 63rd birthday, Grandma. Gosh, you're getting old." Quick bit of basic subtraction and addition there, you guys. I'm 27 years old. That's at least 3 generations of 15-year-old parents. Like, that's a fucking Bogan babushka doll situation. I won. The bottom line is, fake news and propaganda is dangerous. It pits people against each other. The world is full of it and it needs to stop. We don't need it. I went on a tour of the Great British Museum in London last year, which is, by the way, in BuzzFeed's top 10 whitest things you can say. It's up there with, is this Quint's Pace-Off? And, mine! But we like that one the most. But we're living in tough times, ladies and gentlemen. To quote a 2004 Dancing with the Stars runner-up, politician and ex-inmate, we're at the risk of being swamped. By boats, no less. The boats, they are coming here. Much like my first sexual experience, this country is being invaded by foreign seamen. Good luck putting that into the edit. I mean, okay, let me be truthful about this for a second. I'll be honest. The boat people argument, I got to say, in this political climate, is one of the few things I kind of agree with. I don't think they should be coming here that way. And you might be thinking to yourself, Rhys, why are you lecturing us about racially charged issues? Well, I'm a 27-year-old white male with no formal education. If I don't, who will? But also, I feel like I don't think that boat people should be coming here that way. I think it's a problem. It's expensive. We don't need to do it. And you might be wondering yourself, Rhys, what lets you say that? Well, I've been on those boats. So I can say these things, because I've performed on a cruise ship. And I hate them. I hate those boat people. They come in here, rich, fat, white people wearing tan sarongs. They say things like Brisbane, Melbourne. They're not even learning the fucking language. Do you know what I mean? Just... They wear zinc on their noses. Surely, to me, the most offensive facial covering of all. But I don't understand. To be honest, I don't understand. The asylum seekers thing, I think we should be letting them in. Why wouldn't we let them in? To me, in this country, we get very angry at people coming in by boat. It's a very, like, do as we say, not as we did type mentality. But think about it, no one else is. But I think it's that. You see people on the news, on the fucking news these days. This is what fake news does. It makes villains out of people. You see people on the news, on the fucking news saying things like, I don't like them, I don't like the boat people. They're coming here, they're stealing our jobs. They're stealing our women, they're going to steal our jobs. I don't know if these people have been to a cafe or a restaurant or anywhere recently. You know who's stealing our jobs? Fucking backpackers. That's who's stealing our jobs. It's not the boat people, it's the plane people we should worry about. Which is why I think Ivan Milat was a social visionary. I mean, his tactics might have been a little unorthodox. But he had a vision of a cleaner, less sunburnt country. And I think in the next election we should give him something, you know, not necessarily Prime Minister, but maybe, I don't know, Minister for Tourism. I don't know. Give him a Twitter account, he'll work it out himself. But I don't get it. To me, like, not letting the boat people in, it's very classic bullying. It's very just like people stand, like, in high school, kind of like, no, don't come in here. You can't come in here. I don't care what's going on at home. Don't come in here. There's no room for you. Don't. Yay, look at all this room. Yay. We don't even use the middle bit much. It's too hot. Yay. I like the beach. I can't tell you what to think. I'm not your dad, am I? There was that one time. But just like that sexual experience, I learned you can't hide the truth from the news. Even if the news is pretty and you're both 16 and you've had a couple drinks and the news is getting all handsy and you're too polite to say to the news you're not really interested, but the news seems like she might have some pretty low self-esteem issues. So you fake it and you get through it, and years later you see the news at the supermarket and you're there with your boyfriend and the news is like pretending to be cool about it, but you're pretty sure the news is pretty freaked out. She thinks she might have turned you gay. I feel like this one's gotten away from me. But the point is, you don't need to fake the news to make the news. Truth beats fiction. But why would you pump out fake stories just to make yourself feel better? What are you, Catholic? Look, the news is the news. It can be sad and depressing, but you won't make it better by just making it loud, shiny, and dumb.